Well, good afternoon, folks. How are you doing today? I'm hoping you can hear me. I have all new equipment right now, a new headset and everything. My microphone was dying slowly. I didn't realize that till I started listening to some of my past shows and videos. I was like, ruh-roh, this sounds terrible. So the question is, can you hear me right now? I'm checking the chat to make sure you guys can hear me. Good. Okay, sounds great. Thanks. Thanks, Leo. Awesome, man. I'm glad to have equipment that works now. So look, before we get started, we're gonna have a hangout today, and I'm just gonna show you a lot of the different little bits and pieces I found with this Kobe deal. And I felt it was important for a number of reasons. But first and foremost, I saw some people writing in chat like, this doesn't matter. Let's talk about the coronavirus and stuff like this. Well, I'm not scared of the coronavirus myself. Not worried about it one bit. I'll get into a little bit of that here shortly. Let me get you caught up real quick on what's going on here with the channel and with me. There's a lot going on, guys. So as you know, I made my movie, The Scariest Movie Ever Made. I released it beginning of the month. That's, I wanted to get that out of the way before I took a break to go visit people, family and friends and stuff. So that's just the beginning. It's entered into over 30 festivals right now, all around the world. I've been putting it into all different kinds of festivals, just trying to get it out there. And that'll be a continuing project throughout this year, is pushing that and getting more people's eyes on it. Now, as far as my work here, I'm backlogged by 4 big videos I really want to do. So those things are going to be coming up quick. Tomorrow, I've got a catching up with KJ, I've got a KJ's What Happened tomorrow, which is long overdue. There's a lot of stuff to cover in that. And after that, there's 2 more things I got to do. So I've got, if you're one of the artists who've reached out to me about creating merchandise, thank you. And I've probably already got back in touch. If I haven't, please give me a couple days. I'll be emailing all of you guys and gals. And I'm still trying to figure out a way that I can give something back to you, some kind of credit, a link to your work, something, and I'll figure that stuff out. So that's that. And then what else? I feel like there's something else. Oh, yes. I had a couple animators reach out to me over the last month or so. And I think I've reached back out to you guys. You guys should know I've been gone for a bit, but I'll be back in touch with you guys this week. I've got a lot of ideas, and I'm really excited to see what we can do together. We can create a whole new kind of art that's also enlightening. It's also sharing real truth here in this crazy ass world of ours. So that's where I'm at, man. That's kind of what's been going on with me. Thank you guys so much for your patience with me and with my work. I'm not going away. I'm sticking around. I've got a lot of stuff to do, and 2020 is going to be a big year. I'll be doing a lot more things off of YouTube in 2020, even looking at doing conventions and things like this. That's what was so nice about actually meeting some of my friends. I met some people on this past trip that have been friends of mine for like over 5 years, here on YouTube. I just never met them. And I met a few of them, and it was absolutely amazing. And it encouraged me to get out there more and to, be in public with these, with the kind of things that we do here, with the kind of information I bring. I always felt better just kind of being in the shadows. But, honestly, just the way things are now and as fast as everything's being revealed, I'm okay with it. I pray a lot about it, and it'll be the right scenario at the right time. And I'll make sure it's packed with things that matter. I don't want it to be me up on stage, telling goofy jokes for 30 minutes. It's going to be a real awesome setup. It won't just be me. I'm planning on some other people hopefully coming, and mainly have that community. That's one thing we have here that so many other channels I think don't have. And it's all because of you guys, man. But we've got a wonderful community here of thinkers, and it's not it's not like a church building, this isn't an echo chamber. We have all kinds of people that join us here. When I do live shows and talk to y'all one-on-one, we find people who don't believe in God, people who do, people who are Muslims, people who are, it's all over the place, man. And I love that we can all come together and explore all these subjects together. Even though, of course, I am a Christian, I follow Jesus Christ. I don't put that on everybody else. Everyone's on a different level. It's my hope everybody would find Christ, but I'm also realistic. So I'll do my best in the way I can to try to bring people there. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. It's going to be a fun day, man. We're just going to hang out. I'm going to show you some stuff. We're going to hang out and talk. We're going to, be around each other. I hope you're all doing good. I hope you're Hope your 2020 has been cool so far. There we go. There's Alex he's an agnostic, and that's good, man. Thanks for joining us again. I'm not some, I'm not twisting arms over here. You better believe in Jesus so you don't come around here no more. I'm not that guy, man. I know. I know how hard it is to even come to that. I'm grateful I was born with faith. I mean, even as a little boy, I had it, but I also understand the walk. I understand how tough it is. And there's a lot to go through, right? So, hey, there I go rambling again. Let's go ahead and get started. Before I do, I always need to take care of my biz of the business. I also got to shout out my Patreon and PayPal supporters. Guys, without you and without my current sponsorships, I wouldn't be able to do this. So just thanks again to you guys, man. You're awesome. Much love to you. And I really appreciate you for keeping me going. So here you go. Let's start off with the business first, and then let's get into the fun. So seems the Wall Street Journal is reporting that 2 massive hedge funds won't let their clients withdraw their money. And that makes you think, doesn't it? Will you be able to get yours when you want it? With a precious metal IRA with Noble Gold, your money is safe. It's yours. No excuses, no bits of paper, no permission. Noble Gold gives you back the control of your IRA. Do this and you never have to worry about that again. So please discover more about precious metal IRAs and 401k rollovers with Noble Gold Investments. There'll be a link below if you'd like to check that out. It also supports the channel. I'll put the link up here shortly, but if you're curious, you can call them at 877-646-5347. Tell them you heard about them here from me, KJ Osborne, on the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube. And that's the business, guys. That's how quick it is. There you go. You're like, oh, man, we got to do business. Well, the business is done now. I'm going to jump to this here to start. Wow, can you hear that? I wonder if, since I have a whole new setup, I want to check something. Can you guys hear the audio of this? Let me see. Jump back over here to my chat. Can you hear the music that's playing right now on this video? I'm curious. If not, that's okay. I just want to know. Like I said, I have a new setup, and I want to see, can you hear the song? No? Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. That'll work. You don't need to hear the music on this anyway. And here's what I was going to show you. No, it's not just some cute Asian girl here. And she is a cute Asian lady wearing a black mask. What I wanted to show you, though, is right back in here. I liked this. This is good. This is a good reminder to us all. 2002, West Nile virus will kill us all. Remember that? 2004, SARS will kill us all. It's over, guys. We're done. 2005, bird flu is going to get you. We're finished. It's over. 2009, here comes the swine flu, guys. It's going to wipe us out. We're finished. 2014, Ebola was going to kill us all. Remember that? 2016, we had the Zika virus was going to wipe out humanity. And now we have the coronavirus, guys, and it's over. It's finished. You've seen the videos. It's wiping us out right now. Listen. I never freak out about this stuff. I always take my time with every story that comes out, every new thing, because it is chaos. They're constantly creating chaos, right? It's order out of chaos, right? This is their slogan, the elite, if you will, the illuminated, the Illuminati. They call them the deep state on the news, but those hidden controllers, if you will. Always about fear, always about scaring the pee out of you. People are easier to control with fear, right? So, of course, they use this all the time. And, this isn't to downplay it to the point where something like this won't happen someday. Perhaps they're finally going to get one of these through, and then it's going to start wiping people out. Because at the end of the day, why are they doing this? Why does this stuff happen? They're eugenicists, right? These people are into depopulation. And we blame the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the Illuminati bloodlines. But I blame the devil himself. It's an anti-human agenda manifesting through people who have sold out to him. And they've been here for a very long time. And they go by many different names and many different groups and organizations. But it's all a hive mind doing the devil's work. While there's millions of us innocent little sheep wandering around, falling prey to all these scare tactics. Are you with me on this? You gotta be. I'm hoping you are. You don't have to be. You can think for yourself. I'm just saying, don't get scared over all this stuff. Don't freak out right now, okay? Let's pay attention. Let's watch. Let's see how it plays out. There is an Illuminati card game for this, or card, for this, and that is, I still say, one of the most powerful examples of lesser magic I've ever seen in my life. Created in 1994. I don't know the percentage of cards that have come true, but I know it's a lot. You can look into it for yourself if you've never heard of it. Steve Jackson created the Illuminati card game in 1994, and in that game we had the 9/11 attacks all over. It's in there, and much more. We'll do a show like this sometime and just do a catching up on the Illuminati card game and just kind of see how many of them have been played. And it's freaky, man. They got a Trump one, looks just like him. They got an Alex Jones and a Ron Paul one. I mean, there's just the list goes on and on and on. Some of you guys already know this. So that's all, man. That's really all I wanted to cover on this thing right now, on the coronavirus. Don't freak out. Don't lose your shit. Stay calm, cool, and collected. Most importantly, we pray about things. Pray for protection. Pray for guidance. These people do want to wipe out humanity, and that's part of the Antichrist agenda. This is a spiritual battle we're in. Why did none of these work before? What happened with West Nile? What happened with SARS and swine flu and bird flu? Were these just tests? I wonder, really, were these just tests for the big one that they're finally going to get out there? Or were all these stopped spiritually? I wonder, did the Lord actually stop all of these? Could these have been the big one? Each one of these, could these have, each individual example here, West Nile, SARS, bird flu, could these have been the big one? Potentially. And the Lord said no. I don't know. But I know they didn't wipe out humanity. I know it didn't work. That's all, man. I wanted to really talk about with coronavirus right now. I'll still be watching, just like you guys. There's tons of videos coming out. A lot of them purporting to be people from China, and talking about what they're seeing. Let's see what happens. Let's let it play out. See what happens. Just don't live in fear, my friends, please. That's how they control us, right? Here's a list of stuff when it comes to Kobe Bryant. We're just gonna stumble through together, man. And these are all just little bits I've picked up over the last few weeks while I was underway, paying attention to some of these different stories. The numbers, a lot of really interesting numbers have been popping up around this event here with Kobe Bryant and his death. This right here, Gigi Bryant and Kobe Bryant. If you add the numbers together, it actually totals his jersey numbers, which is kind of strange. And those turned out to be right down here, 8 and 24. So you add their dates of birth to death, you get 80-24. His jersey numbers were 8 and 24. I'm not saying somebody did this on purpose. We got to do this. This is part of, but sometimes they do. You'll see as we go through here, these things can be a little bit complicated and even convoluted. And it's easy to jump to a lot of conclusions. But one thing I find in all the years I've been looking at stuff like this, especially celebrity deaths that are Freemasons, that show the signs and symbols, that are a part of that group, a part of the clique, there are a lot of very interesting things that happen around there. The numbers come up. There's always some interesting numerology. And there's a lot more. So I'll show you some of this. Anyway, that's just a minor one, just a little one. That's just a taste. It is weird. Sure, it's kind of strange. Don't know exactly what it means, but that's just one example of many that could pop up. LeBron James revealed a new tattoo to honor his friend Kobe Bryant. This popped up pretty quick. It's just from 2 days ago. And it's always back to the serpent anyway. And of course, Kobe went by the nickname Black Mamba. But, and that has different meanings as well. But thinking more along the lines of the serpent. Well, I thought that was interesting. Here we go. Always back to the serpent. Here's a really weird one too. Okay, this is just kind of kooky strange. Can I play this? Yeah, it's old. I think we can play this. There's not much you got to see here, but you see a little kid here dressed up like a peanut. This is a Mr. Peanut. And he's in the car with Kobe Bryant. And that's about it. There's not a lot more symbolism in this commercial, but here's just something weird I thought of and I saw. You got Mr. Peanut, your little peanut boy, hanging with Kobe Bryant throughout this whole commercial. But then, where is it? If I can find it. Here it is. And then Mr. Peanut, the iconic Planters mascot, died 4 days before Kobe Bryant's helicopter crash. Again, I'm telling you, I know this isn't some huge, like, oh my gosh, there it is. You Mr. Peanut. He was behind it all along. Yeah. No, just one of those strange little coincidences. Some of these get a lot more obvious. Okay. I'm just showing you all the little bits and pieces I pick up on throughout the weeks. That's how I create my shows. What happened is I'm always looking at different, throughout the days, I'm always looking at different sources, different news, different stories. And I just, collect everything that captures my mind here. This was one of them. I was like, that's kind of weird. So he is in a peanut commercial with the little kid, the peanut. And then just a few days before, we have Mr. Peanut dies and we have Kobe dying. Again, guys, I know very minor stuff, but I thought it was interesting. Wanted to share that little bit right there too. Let's see what we got here. Of course, this is the big one, man. Here's the big one. I'm going to show you some stuff on the animation that I haven't seen many people talk about. But Kobe Bryant helicopter crash death chillingly predicted by cartoon 4 years ago. How many times have we seen this kind of a thing happen, right? I mean, this happens a lot. We've seen it through Family Guy. We've also seen it, of course, through The Simpsons. There have been full articles written online about The Simpsons about how many times they, quote, predicted something was going to happen. Now, here's some things about The Simpsons. Matt Groening, right? He's the guy that created The Simpsons. But a long time ago, many years ago, a couple of the voice actors, Harry Shearer was one, and I can't remember the other guy. But a few of these guys got together from The Simpsons, all Simpsons people, and they made a little mock documentary about the Bohemian Grove, which is a real thing. Most of you know what that is if you're listening here, but the Bohemian Grove is a club in California, out in the woods, the redwoods, where members of presidents, leaders of industry, people on some of the highest positions in the world all meet in secret for a few weeks and discuss future plans. And it seems there's plenty of perversion that goes on there as well. They also have the cremation of care. So, of course, they can do whatever they want to do to whoever they want to do. Whatever kind of filth they can come up with. But hey, they got the cremation of care. That's where you burn it all away. Okay, that's a part of that. Be debaucherous, be disgusting, make plans to depopulate, whatever else, it's fine. Do your cremation of care, no worries, you're good. The mock sacrifice. Kobe Bryant helicopter crash. Okay, so this happens a lot. Now, if you're new around here and you never heard of something like this, you're like, wow, that's really weird, man. I've never seen that before. Start doing a little research on your own, and you're going to find that this happens constantly. And this is something I've been showing you guys for years on my channel. It's predictive programming is one element. Another element is social engineering. And then another element is the lesser magic. And lesser magic, the most simple way to if you ever want to get deep dive it, look up Alice and Foster Bailey. Anything from Alice and Foster Bailey, it's a married couple, look them up and read into some theosophy, some Blavatsky and stuff like this, if you're interested. But it's lesser magic. And 9/11 is another great example as well. All of our money had the event on our money, and then it happened. That's lesser magic, guys. We were a part of the spell without even realizing it. We accepted it. We had already seen this somewhere before, right? None of us knew where, but we'd seen this somewhere before when it happened. It just made sense. We were part of the spell. It's lesser magic. So that extends into all kinds of areas, and we find it a lot here with entertainment. We find it surrounding a lot of mysterious celebrity deaths as well. Not every single one of them, but some, right? because I don't think every single one of them are going to the lodge. I don't believe that. And I think that's why throughout the years, and I'm such a pop culture junkie. I mean, I went to film school, so I'm always watching these things, right? I'm always absorbing entertainment, of course, through a different set of eyes now that we're all awake in the way that we are to Christ and to the real spiritual stuff that's happening here. But I've always been watching for this kind of stuff, always, and certainly it's everywhere. So let me see if I can find the picture I was looking for here. I'll show you. Let me find a picture of the actual event. Well, this is what happened is it was on a Cartoon Network show called Legends of Chamberlain Heights. I haven't done any kind of a deep dig on this, but I did think it was interesting that their main logo here, of course, it goes back to the sun. It's always with the sun with these people, right? Sun worship, sun worshipers. Luciferian. We also can't forget the Saturnalia connection. We'll talk about some of the Saturn worshipers as well. Anyway, the sun symbolism, very basic. Legends of Chamberlain Heights. Okay. I think this is the one where I get to see the actual plane. Okay, there we go. Let me blow this up a little bigger. Here we go. Now let's make it big. All right. First thing I noticed here, this is going to be a throwback to another YouTuber. Some of y'all never heard of this fella. Some of you have. Been around for a long time. I have exchanged messages back and forth through years with him. Don't know him personally, but it's a YouTuber called The Groxt, Groxt. He's still out there. It may be under the Groxt 1, but I know they took one of his channels down at one point. But he's interesting. He's an interesting character. I'm not saying I sign off on everything he says or does, just like many of you may say the same for me, and that's fair enough. We're all human. You take what you need, you leave the rest. But Grox is always outlining things and showing images within images, sometimes even on the globe. You may have seen some of this, right? But it's weird. When I very first saw this, I immediately thought of the Grox because of the way that helicopter's made, like that image right there. It clearly looks like, to me, like a shark or something. You see how it's crashed on the ground. It's got the sharp teeth on the top and the sharp teeth on the bottom. That's where Kobe is going to come out of that. It's got, of course, the obvious eye right there, and then the long fin. I mean, it looked when I first saw that, I'm like, that looks like a Grox thing. Like he would probably see that, like a shark or something. I'm not sure. Don't think it means much. Don't know. Just throwing out observations here. Here comes Kobe out of the plane with, they say it's the two trophies, but it's also the Twin Towers. Again, we're thinking back to the Masons here. I want to show you if I can get a very clear image of this in a second. Let me see. So it's the Twin Towers and a nuclear explosion. And we know the Masons, Illuminati, were behind 9/11, right? Anyway, nuclear explosion. After he has the pillars, also pillars of Freemasonry in between the two pillars, or the two towers, which was a mega occult ritual. They got the 5 rings. I know that goes back to championships and whatnot. But and then the guy picks them up and says these belong to Shaq or something like that. And it's just a little bit there, but I'm trying to find the actual picture here. Let me see. Because there's an image on the actual helicopter that I think you need to see. Kobe cartoon helicopter. Images. That might be a good one right there. All right. Anyway, I wish I could make this bigger. Let me see if I can find bigger images of this. But you're going to see the Masonic square and compass on the actual helicopter. That's what I'm trying to show you here. Where's large? Sizes. Large. Is that a good image? Not bad. You can see it a little bit right here. It's also on the higher up on the tail. I was going to create this as an image and show you, but for whatever reason, I can't screen share those, so I couldn't do that. But let me just, it's a little better there. You guys can go look for yourself, okay? But the clearest one, like I said, there's also another one on the tail, if I can find it. But there it goes, that one. That's pretty good. Yeah, they're all fuzzy, aren't they? But right there, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not. You'll see the square and compass. That's a pretty good example right above predictive programming. You can see it right here, okay? And that is the square and compass, the Freemason square and compass. As I said, it's also on the tail end of the helicopter as well. And you may be thinking, oh, that's just a reach. You know, there's no way. It's a better shot of it. That is the square and compass. I don't know if you know much about animation. I'm not an animator myself, but I worked with animators. When I worked out in Hollywood, the last project I was working on was a project for Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. And I was working with animators, and I was the writer and the creator of this thing. This was something, it was a spec project that a producer got me on, that this was going to help me kind of hopefully get my foot in the door out there, you know, the whole thing, right? So I actually got to talk to some of these animators at Cartoon Network. We were developing this thing. Never took off. I mean, it was right around that time is when I woke up, and that changed everything. When I finally woke up to things, to what's really going on, that's when I made the movie, the scariest movie ever made. That's all I cared about anymore. It's like, okay, none of this other stuff matters. But just talking with animators and whatnot, I think about that when I see this image as well. They can do anything they want. They can put anything in there they want. It's their choice. Create anything they want. So you may say that, that's not a square and compass, you know, but what is it? Why is it there? Just some random scratcher marks that he put in there? I see the cracks. You see the cracks because there's a crash. You can see some of the cracks around on the helicopter and whatnot. But right there between the purple and the yellow, right there on the line between the purple and the yellow is a perfect square and compass. Why would that be there? Did that pop up after the accident? Is this something that I don't know about when there's accidents? All of a sudden there's a square and compass that pops up. I don't think that's very reasonable. And this is just one, again, guys, we're just kind of picking little bits apart. You're rolling with me on this. This isn't a news program. It's not all professionally put together. I like to do it like this. It's just the way my thoughts go, the way my head works. And I know a lot of you are like that as well, because there's more. Trust me, there's more coming up. Just remember this, though. So here we have that, the square and compass on there. It's a little bit clearer. Now you can see it again, the square and compass, right? Square and compass. Why is that there? Why would that be there? I wish I could find the one on the tail end, but I'm not seeing it. If you don't know what a square and compass is with the Masons, again, just look at this image here, right? And then, and you'll see it on other things from Kobe as well. Like I said, this isn't that big of a reach. You'll see a square and compass. And that's your square and compass, right? Male and female. There you go. All right, let's continue on here. Something else I thought just want to throw in there. I remember this from a while back. This is on the Gnostic Warrior website. Let me give you a warning here. I'm not a Gnostic, not into Gnosticism at all. However, if you use your logic, reason, common sense, critical thinking, and most importantly, your spiritual discernment, you can find the truth in all kinds of areas, usually clouded with a bit of deception here and there. So there is good information from the Gnostics I found throughout the years. However, when their approach to our Heavenly Father and also their approach to Christ, totally not a fan. Okay, so not a Gnostic, but there is some interesting, good information sometimes to be found through here. I believe our God's a loving God that can and will intercede in our lives, uh, first and foremost. Gnostics don't believe this. There's a really good, I need to put this in a video sometime. There's a great animation I found a while back, which was the perfect explanation of the Gnostic view of God. And some people still want to follow that. I found it amazing. I'll pull that up sometime and I'll put it in a video. Freemasons created the game of football. Freemasons have always been a secret society whose large role is built, and I know this isn't basketball, guys, but it applies to all of it as far as I'm concerned. The Freemasons have always been a secret society whose large role as builders of our current man-made world is undisputable. Anyone who has done their research into the history of this famous group of brethren understand that some of the world's smartest and most powerful men have been Freemasons. In fact, their unique Mason marks can be found in just about every fabric, stone, media, and even the games in modern society that we all love to play and watch today. And that's such a great fact. I've spoken about this with other people as well, that that's the allure to Masonry, I'm sure, for so many, and the Eastern Star for the ladies, because they really do and have for many years own and run most things, right, on one level or another, even all the way up into Hollywood and politics. We know this all around the world. So you're some noob off the street that don't know anything about this stuff, and a Mason starts pointing out all the same things that I point out to you guys and other people online that aren't Masons but have the eyes for this stuff point out to you guys. They're sharing the same information. So that same feeling you guys get, and even I got when I first started learning about this, that, right? That, whoa, man, this is everywhere. You know that feeling. Some of you are just experiencing it now. Some of you are new to this. Now, when you go to the movies and TV shows, you're like, whoa, it's everywhere. Well, it is. It is. Yeah. And it has been for a very long time. So you can understand how easy it is for someone to fall into being a Freemason. There's an allure there, right? Go, wow, I can be a part of the group that runs everything, and they all look out for each other and business contracts with each other, the whole thing. There's an old French film called Occult Something. I can't remember the other word, but it's from the 1930s. I made a video about it years ago, probably back in 2013. And that's another one that clearly lays out everything with Freemasons from top to bottom, from how you get in, how amazed you are, then all the business dealings to the very end, where if you don't go along with the plan, they'll kill you. And it shows you everything. You guys might know the name of that movie. You're probably putting it in chat right now. 1930s, like I said, I believe. It's a French film, and the word, it's the Occult Something. Can't remember the other word anyway, off the top of my head. One of these Masonic created games that we know of as an English national pastime is the game of football. The Football Association was founded on 26 October 1863 at the Freemasons Tavern in London. This English game of ball then gave rise to a modern-day gladiator-type sporting event played by men in tights and pads with fierce-looking padded Spartan-like helmets in an arena known as American football. Here's a brief explanation about the origins of football from 33rd degree Freemason Christopher L. Hodap, who is the author of Freemasons for Dummies and Solomon's Builders, Freemasons. He says on his blog, Association football was born in 1863 at the Freemason Arms pub near London's Covent Garden at 81 and 82 Longacre. 6 meetings were held at the pub to decide on rules and structure, and the meetings ended with a split between the new football association. Soccer is said to be a truncated version of association, and the proponents of different rules that became rugby. The Freemasons Arms pub was built in 1860 and is still open today. It began life as the Freemasons Tavern, which originally stood where the United Grand Lodge of England's new Connaught Rooms are today on Great Queen Street. London's Freemasons Hall is literally right across the street. The first game played in the States was at a Princeton Rutgers football game in 1869 that was held under England's Football Association rules, better known in North America as soccer. Later in 1874, the rules changed more to be like English rugby. Both Freemasons and football players use special signals, like that of the Master Mason's sign seen on the above left, and the sign a referee makes for a goal. Masonic orders and football leagues are special societies for men only who wear special uniforms and have meetings, rituals under a highly formalized set of mysterious rules. Meetings begin and end at appointed times and are presided over by a Grand Master or manager. Membership into the order on the team is organized into a hierarchical structure in which the groups compete for honors and other benefits. And to get on the team, you must ask one to be one. Here's some more research from the playing rules of the McGill University Football Club, April 1874. Until a few years ago, the methods of playing football were varied and numerous, but the game has finally settled into two distinct styles, the rugby rules and the association rules. The object of the association code is to encourage dribbling, and simplicity has also been carefully studied by the abolition of all clauses and technicalities calculated to prevent the easy comprehension of the rules. The rugby laws are much more extensive and elaborate, and the main idea is to encourage speed of foot with a minimum of kicking, besides there being an atmosphere of danger in the hacking and mauls so dear to every player, more rugby-scene-y, whatever that is. All right. We today publish a copy of the college rules, revised and amended update April 1874, and these will make the chief features of our game apparent to everyone. They disagree very materially with the rules of Canadian Association, and while we regret our exclusion from playing for the Champion Cup, yet we feel bound both by honor and inclination to stick to our own game, which seems always to have suited our men peculiarly well. Anyway, there's that from the Gnostic Warrior. Just a bit to talk about how all this stuff is rigged. It would alone be another long video, but I know many of you know more about it than I do. This isn't a subject I look into a whole lot. I probably should, but if any of you out there have some interesting bits of information, some good truths and proofs about how all this stuff is rigged, please share. Some great minds out there, and plenty of you are good into grabbing that kind of information. Let's move on and see what else we have. See what else. Well, this is famous Illuminati athletes exposed. All right. I think most of us know about this. I don't really care about that one. I think that was just a little extra I had. Here's one for you. And again, we are going to get back to Kobe. Okay. All this falls in together. This is how my head works. All this stuff, when I think of Kobe, is all the things I wanted to show you guys. So, hey, and what else do you got to do, huh? What else are we going to do? It's a lazy afternoon, right? I don't know where you're at. The weather's nice where I am. We've got a cold front coming in tomorrow. So it's going to be cold and nasty for 3 days. And that's the perfect kind of weather for me to create videos in. I guess I've got some big ones coming, guys. And I've been hungry to get back to this. You know, it was nice to take the break, but this is who I am. You know, no matter where I am or who I'm with, in the back of my head, I'm always thinking of the videos or, you know, something I saw that I want to explore, you know. Ex-NFL star Larry Johnson sounds off on supposed effeminate agenda in two sports leagues. Former NFL star Larry Johnson sounded off on social media about supposed effeminate agenda in the NFL and NBA, and he says high-ranking Freemasons are involved. Johnson, who was the premier running back for Kansas City Chiefs from 2003 to 2009, fired off the series of tweets seemingly out of nowhere. There's an effeminate agenda going on against or amongst the NBA and NFL elite, peddled by high-ranking Masons handlers to indoctrinate the heterosexual sports world without them knowing, for the buying power of the LGBTQ community, he started. But we're not ready to have that conversation yet. Then Johnson explained what he meant, using bullet points in his next two tweets. Johnson then added, October is LGBTQ History Month. The NFL players wear pink that month. They want you to think breast cancer, but they show you they don't care much about women. Look at the treatment of domestic violence issues. Yeah. Yeah. Nailed it. Nailed it. I don't even like watching sports. I like UFC, but I don't watch sports. But I'll tell you, I get sick of every couple weeks. There's another story about somebody in the NFL or the NBA beating their wife, knocking out a girlfriend, you're doing something violent. You know, this happens all the time. Twitter users quickly pounced on the tweets and accused Johnson of prejudice against people with different sexual orientations, but he defended himself. Nothing I said, that's nothing said. I never said I hate gays. My understanding goes far beyond flesh, but an agenda that's really to go after the homophobic sports fan who had an uproar when two men kissed, he tweeted. I could care less about the flesh. I'm noticing a playbook used on the masses. I mean, he's talking like one of us, isn't he? I like it so far. He later added, I love to see the LGBTQ community band together and come to a common cause when it comes to me. Now do that with the defects of your own community, pedophilic priests and politicians. Show them that same energy, but a kingdom divided against itself will not stand. Johnson was a one-time All-Pro selection and a two-time Pro Bowler during his NFL career. Played for the Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals, Redskins, and Dolphins. All right. Nice way to end it. Gave us all that awesome information. And then, yeah, by the way, he played for these teams. I don't care about that. Let's get back to what he's saying. I liked that. I like it. I don't know much about Larry Johnson. Again, I don't really follow sports, but everything he's saying, I feel, right? You with me on that? Reminds me of another kind of a, let me see here if I can do this. Aaron Hernandez, Illuminati gel. If I remember this right. Yeah, there it is. You know, there's a documentary on Aaron Hernandez right now on Netflix, I think it is. Maybe it's Netflix. I can't remember. But anyway, I saw the first episode. Thought it was interesting. But anyway, here's another famous sports figure and a connection to this Illuminati stuff here, right? Aaron Hernandez scrawled Illuminati symbols on the wall of his prison cell in his own blood before he hanged himself, it's been claimed. The disgraced NFL star was found dead at the Sousa Baranowski Correctional Center in Massachusetts on April 19th. He left suicide notes for his daughter, fiance, and alleged gay prison lover, and had also opened his Bible to John 3:16. When prison guards found him in the early hours of the morning, they also found symbols and the word Illuminati written in block capitals on the wall. Hernandez had begun to draw a pyramid, a common symbol among followers of the Enlightenment group, but did not finish it, the network reports. He had also drawn an oval with rays coming out of it, a symbol which is designed to represent the all-seeing eye of God. Investigators also found K2, a synthetic form of marijuana, in the star's cell. Toxicology reports carried out after his death, however, found no trace of the drug in his system. Hernandez left letters to his fiancée. Okay, we got that. I guess we don't get to see the pictures, but there's Aaron. There's Aaron. Interesting documentary, what I saw, but they didn't mention any of this Illuminati stuff. Maybe they do later. I don't know. But anyway, just wanted to throw that in there. Here's something else that, again, don't know, but I know a little bit about a lot of things. When I saw that animation and the 5 rings, I get that those are the championship rings and stuff, but it had to be the 5 rings. And there's actually the Book of 5 Rings. So this connects back to Freemasonry. It's about the only thing that does when it comes to the 5 rings, but they are into their rings as well, the Masons. Don't know if it means anything. Probably doesn't. If you're interested, you can look up the Book of 5 Rings. It's just one of those things off the top of my head I thought about as soon as I saw those 5 rings hitting the ground after the nuclear bomb, the nuclear explosion in that animation. Okay, let's go back over here now. Just a fun bit, weird bit, but I remembered that they had made a Kobe Bryant helicopter transformer. Again, don't know that it means much, but these are the random bits that pop into my head. So there's some strange Lil Wayne things I'll come back to. I guess I could do it right now. I had a Lil Wayne thing up over here. Lil Wayne honors Kobe on new album, 24 Seconds of Silence. Lil Wayne paid tribute to Kobe Bryant on his brand new album he dropped today, laying in 24 Seconds of Silence on track number 8 to show love for the Lakers legend. He spent years working on the album titled Funeral. Interesting. But when he learned about Kobe's death on Sunday, he connected with Young Money president and they agreed to make last second changes to honor Bryant. The final decision was to lay in a moment of silence for Kobe at the end of the 8th song on the album titled Being James. 24 seconds in total. Obviously, the numbers refer to Kobe's Lakers jersey numbers 8 and 24. Wayne appeared on FS1's Undisputed on Friday morning and credited the producers he worked on the album for being nimble enough to change up the album just hours before it was released. It's interesting this story comes out anyway, especially with Lil Wayne talking about this is something they did at the very last minute. Just like hours before the release, we did this. Is that true? Or are we seeing another example? Because Lil Wayne's done this before. That's why I brought him up. This goes back to more of that really magic, watching some magic unfold here. Let me finish reading this article here first. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Wayne's a huge basketball fan who loves the Lakers and has been a public Kobe supporter for years, even dropped a song called Kobe Bryant. He also shouts out Black Mamba in the chorus of another song on the new album, a song called Ball Hard. You ever seen the movie Walk Hard? One of my favorite comedies. I know it's random. I know it's probably not for everybody. And it's very adult at times. All right. So, don't play this one at Sunday school for the kids. All right. It's called Walk Hard. It's one of the goofiest, weirdest from out of nowhere comedies I saw. It's kind of a mockumentary on the life of Johnny Cash, really. But it was just so goofy and weird. And I found myself laughing throughout the whole thing. Walk Hard. Very weird movie. Funny movie. All right, moving on. I'm rambling again. Stop that. Here's the funeral. Here's the title of Wayne's new album. Looks like you probably make out something else. It's one of those, right? Like Dio. You ever heard the singer Dio, Ronnie James Dio, D-I-O? He died a while back. But he used to write his name out in these, I don't know what that font is, but that kind of a lettering or whatever. And you could turn his name upside down and it said Devil, if you knew that or not. Dio, upside down, Devil. More Lil Wayne stuff. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, I don't know how to tell you how to get to this, but these are really interesting PDF files from 1993. Some of the kind of stuff I stumble upon sometimes. Satanic cult awareness. Lots of information in here. And I told y'all before sometimes that anytime there's an event or something takes place, I'll run back and look through stuff like this to see if it falls on a satanic holiday, right? Or if it lines up with something, like a certain time of year where they do rituals and events. Anyway, here's one here that was interesting. January 26th is when Kobe Bryant died, right, in a helicopter. And that's considered the grand climax. And it happens 5 weeks and 1 day after the winter solar solstice. Exactly. And it's a sacrifice of a female child. They also have, of course, the, sexual elements of that as well. And the child should be between 7 and 17 female. And that's a ritual, the 26th, the grand climax. So it's interesting. His daughter falls between those ages. She was 13, I believe, right? Kobe's daughter. So, just a coincidence. Again, guys, I'm pointing out these little things. I'm not telling you because I don't know. These are all strands. They're all pieces. And if you guys get strands and interesting pieces, bring it. See what you got. Anyway, this is a really good resource, though, as you can see, I can go right through here. It has the occult satanic holidays, the types of ceremonies, what's involved, ages of the victims they're looking for. It's deep stuff. All right. So always, pray for your own protection about stuff, especially researching anything like this. But if you're interested, there you go. It's called Satanic Cult Awareness, presented by Gayland Hurst and Robert Marsh. All right. If you're interested, check that out. Here's another one very interesting. Pro-Trump radio host. Kobe Bryant was a witch who died in a ritual sacrifice. Chris McDonald has a lot of theories about why Kobe Bryant died. Just a couple of days ago, he hinted that Hillary Clinton may have been involved in Bryant's death because he was very close to Bill and Hillary. Now he hasn't, and that sounds like a crazy theory, but then is it? I mean, there's so much madness around Bill and Hillary, and we know about the death list. But now he has a new theory that his death was actually a, quote, ritual sacrifice because he was a witch. He and political consultant Corey Daniel were airing their views Thursday on the MC Files, which McDonald hosts. I firmly believe that Kobe was in the occult, McDonald said. He was practicing occultism. I would call him a witch, absolutely 100%, he added. Everything that he was involved in, he was utilizing ancient occult knowledge. McDonald agreed. And I've got examples of that as well, right? We're going to show you some of that. McDonald agreed. That's my point here that we're trying to get across tonight. That you, Corey, and I strongly believe it too. This was a ritual sacrifice of Kobe Bryant, McDonald said. We don't know exactly who, but we know it took place. All right. There's that. This was a screenshot when they're talking about, this is on CBS 3, but Philly, but I saw this screenshot from somebody, and I thought that was an interesting one. And this is after the Grammys. They're talking about Kobe. Grammys filled with its own symbolism as well. I've discussed the statue with you guys in the past, what that is, where it comes from. All roads lead to Egypt, it seems, with these Freemasons as well. That's why you see so much of that. Their hand signs, I thought that was interesting as well, as they're talking about Kobe after the Grammys. Anyway, just something I'm tossing out there. Now this one. Now this one. Now we get into the really weird stuff. Let me see if I can play this on YouTube instead of on this website. Okay. All right. Check this. I'm gonna play some of this for you. Let me find the part. Okay, that's the part. This is the part where I don't know how to let you guys hear it. That's the thing. I don't know if, let me see if this does it. No, that's not it. If that does it. Let me see. I'm going to run to the chat and see if, let me talk to you guys for a second and see what's going on over here. Hold on. All right, I'm back in the chat. I'm going to ask you guys a question. And that is, let me find it. Can you hear this? Can you hear what's on the screen? That's the question. Can you guys hear what's on the screen? Closed captions. There you go. Great idea. Thanks, man. That's even better. Appreciate it. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. All right, I'm going to go back to it now. All right. Closed captions it is. Why is there not a closed caption thing on here? Huh, there's not even a closed caption thing on there. Let me see.
Bad, angry. I don't like that.
Well, like I said, guys, I'm working with some new equipment, and I'm just figuring it out here as we go. And it looks like I'll have to figure out how I can play audio for you guys in the future. And like I said, there's no CC on here. So what I may have to do is just, I'll tell you what they're saying. How's that? All right, check this out. So Kobe's talking to this, whatever this thing is, about light musings and dark musings. I'll continue. He says, light musings make you feel good and happy, but dark musings make you feel bad and angry. Now, the little guy just said, I don't like dark musings. Now, here's the important part. Kobe's like, oh, I understand that. But what most people don't understand is that dark musings are our greatest source of energy and power. He just said, if you're looking for your inner beast, it's most likely living inside of a dark muse. You can go watch all this for yourself sometimes, guys, and like actually hear him saying this. And then he essentially takes this child on a trip into what looks like, oh, I don't know, hell. And you've got your demons and all this other fun stuff. But this is for children. This is something they did for children. So there you go. It's a little bit of that. As Kobe says, there's light musings and dark musings. But if you really want to find your beast, he's going to be in one of the dark musings. Comments were turned off. I'm not surprised by that. All right, so I think you got some of that. Let's see what else we got. Kobe Bryant stopped by his church hours before his death. His priest says he was certainly a man of faith. Again, all this kind of stuff. It is interesting, though. He went to his church just before, I guess. Let's see what it says. He visited Our Lady, Queen of Angels, early Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Mass. Says we shook hands. I saw that he had blessed himself because there was holy water on his forehead. Bryant, 41, and his family were regulars at the Newport Beach Church, praying along with hundreds of other parishioners during Mass and never trying to attract attention to themselves. All right, I don't know. This religious stuff and this church-going stuff, I've never bought off any of the politicians or people out in public. Not that they can't be. Certainly some of them are, but it seems like the ones that get out there the most, and are more public about it, I always had a hard time trusting. I remember Bill Clinton years ago. They used to always show these on the news, always him, this church going man, always showing him coming out of churches, going into churches, speaking of, usually in front of big black congregations, of course. It's the imagery, right? That's what they like. It's the imagery. It's the fluff. You see this stuff all the time. Of course, they're going to claim a religion. They're going to claim Christianity, a lot of these people. They're going to claim different churches they go to. And, hey, look, wow, the cameras are at that church. Isn't that weird? Why are these cameras always at these churches catching these celebrities and politicians going in and coming out? It's just so strange. But I'm sure that they're all really good Christian people, and this isn't a cover. And, everything's on the up and up. You know how we do in this community, and I hate to be so cynical. I know that it's all black and white. There's some good people, there's some bad people. A lot of times what we do here is we figure it out. And sometimes we're just speculating and having some fun, right? But anywho, there's that. So he went to church just before his death. And this guy was trying to point out that Alicia Keys, and most y'all, this is all stuff some of y'all have already seen, I'm sure. It's fine, but just throwing stuff out there. But apparently, she flashes the 666 right there, I guess, is what everybody's been talking about. Right there, she said, "We love you, Kobe." And then she, holds out her 666. There you go. I don't know. This really doesn't have much to do with Kobe. Most of y'all have probably seen this, and since you can't hear audio, it doesn't matter. But there's a news reporter that, dropped the NWord while discussing the Lakers and whatnot and Kobe. And this happened just a few days back. I imagine that person is gone now. Probably lost their job. Not sure, though. I guess it depends on if they are a liberal and they're at a liberal TV station. I'm sure everything was fine. It was just a slip up. But anyway, there's that. Why did I bring this one up? I'm trying to think. All right, this is probably just for something else. Then there's, we mentioned this earlier. I'm going to show you a little more on that too. Kobe Bryant and Whitney Houston also died hours before the Grammys, just hours before the Grammys. And what does that mean? I'll show you some stuff on Whitney Houston here in just a bit. All right, now we get into definitely the symbolism of it all. And here we go. And this is a Kobe Bryant. Oh, hey, guess who's here? Kanye West, too. This is from 2012. There were a lot of different celebrities that came out for this. It was a thing they were calling the Kobe system. I'm not sure. I'm sure it was something he was selling at the time, but probably tennis shoes or something. But the Kobe system, and they did a bunch of different commercials. Look at this, level 6 Beastion. So, of course, back to the beast, also the mamba, right? The black mamba, the serpent, the beast, all the symbolisms there, and there's more in here. Here's your as above, so below, right here. 2 pyramids connected at the apex, right? Unfinished on the bottom there, but that's an easy one. And that's our world is turning upside down, right? I've been showing you this for a long time. It really is. We're in that shift, have been in that shift. And we're literally seeing those things in the Bible come true, that what was once considered good and normal is now considered weird and perverted, and vice versa. It's all twisting upside down. That as above, so below paradigm. Now they're all wearing the symbol, of course, right? It's from 2012, all wearing the symbol. That's Kanye, though, right? He's never mentioned any of this stuff, right? Kanye is a good Christian man now, right? Kanye is going to lead the flock. Look, I hope so. I hope, that's one thing I don't like to do either, is judge a person's faith. You don't know what their walk is on the inside, no matter what they may show on the outside at times. We don't know the real relationship between each person and our Heavenly Father. So it's not nice to be casting those kinds of things on people. People cast it on me ever since I've been doing this for years, of course. He's a fake Christian. He's a fraud. All the other stuff. It just goes with it. But so even on that, I don't like making that judgment call. Sometimes it's easy to do, though, right? Sometimes we get enough dots, we see enough things, the way these people act, the things they say, their fruits, or it makes it very obvious. And other times it's harder to tell, who's the wolf and who's the sheep. Anyway, thought it was interesting. Kanye's in this one here. And then just more of the symbolism, of course. It's always the one eye, right? It's always the go-to, but it's the all-seeing eye. Doesn't have to be that way. It could have a picture of anything we want. He's doing his 666 there too, but it could be anything we want. But it's always the all-seeing eye. It's always the one eye, because this is the system that these people are a part of. That's it. What else we got in here? I think that was about it. It's more Kanye stuff. Okay, here's the Lil Wayne honors Kobe. Also in that animation, when the 5 rings drop after the nuclear explosion, somebody says something like, one of the characters says, those are Shaq's, or those belong to Shaq. Most of you know that Shaq is a Freemason. You've probably seen these pictures. There's a video clip you can see out there where he's talking about it. So here he is in the lodge. It's Shaq. Looks like they put Shaq in a dress. That's the other thing, is of course, right? They always have to do the humiliation ritual. They always have to put on the dress. I didn't think to look this up, but let me see if they did it to Kobe. Well, I guess they didn't get Kobe in the dress, it looks like. Let's see. That, whatever that is. Well, it's pretty femme. Maybe that is a dress. I don't know. Close. All right. I guess Kobe didn't have to do the dress. Maybe he had to do something else. Nike, good Christian company, guys. Christian company, Nike. The Nike swoosh is Saturn. I've shown that for years on things with backup. But the Nike swoosh is just one example of the ring of Saturn. These are Saturn worshippers, a lot of these people. Saturnalia cult. This is from Nike right here. This is a box that contains golf balls. So, of course, we're going to put an all-seeing eye on it, right? In the middle of a pyramid. So there you go. Here's another one, very interesting. Now, this one ties back into the helicopter. This is pretty cool. It's interesting. Black Mamba. It's this kind of, I don't know, short film that Kobe made with Robert Rodriguez. There's a lot to show you on this one. Okay, anyway, so starting off, right in the center, of course, oh no, it's a basketball or an all-seeing eye. And I'll show you some more on that. Behind Kobe here, you'll see the serpent, of course. It's always with the serpents, but let's watch some here. I know you can't hear this. It's fine. I'm going to show you something. They're talking about the movie they're going to make. But what I want you to see on Rodriguez first, some of the symbolism with this guy right here. Maybe the patch, sure, but it's actually what's up on his shoulder. Let me see if I can get you a clearer shot of that. There it is. So now you can see it, and you can't quite see it all, but so he's got the pentagrams on his shoulder, right? He also has the double cross on the patch. It's the as above, so below, with the two pyramids connected with the apex, just like I showed you on that Kobe commercial thing he was doing. But same thing, the same symbol, guys. These are all symbols of the same beast system, right? So it's the as above, so below. We got the upside down cross, right side up cross. So there's your as above, so below. On his left shoulder, you've got the pentagram. It's the upside down star. But what's really crazy is, and I don't have the best shot of it, is inside of this pentagram is a Christian cross as well. I'll see if I can get a better shot. And this is just, they're discussing this movie and goofy ideas. Bruce Willis is in there. Have you ever seen an interview with Bruce Willis? He seems like one of the most lame people ever. I mean, I used to love this guy's. I remember being a kid and watching Moonlighting. He started off on a TV show. Did you know that? Bruce Willis started off as a TV actor. And he was on this TV show called Moonlighting. His name was David something. But anyway, it was him and this pretty lady and, their relationship. I can't even remember what the show was about. But he was just so charismatic and so cool. As a kid, you're like, man, I'd like to have an uncle like that, or something. It just seemed like a cool dude, always had great one-liners. Of course, he's made some epically awesome movies, but something happened to him. I don't know what's going on. Look at some of his, just look up Bruce Willis awkward interview, and you're welcome. All right, let's keep going through here and see if I can get back to that image. Oh, and then Kanye West again. So you got these guys. It's Kanye West is the boss in this one, but Kanye and him are they're buds connected, yeah. And that's about it. It's all whatever, but there you go. It's a pretty good shot of it right there. You see it now? You can see it. It's the star. It's the pentagram, the star, but with a cross in the center. See? Anyway, there's that. So there we have that. And this goes back to, of course, the all-seeing eye on the Great Seal of the United States. On each side, we see the phallic symbol pointing downwards, a womb represented by the V shape above the triangle, which represents the all-important concept of union of opposites in Illuminati symbolism. That's it. As above, so below. There it is. Success at the apex of the pyramid. This is the same lie that all of these men and women were told that sold out to it. And they did gain their success. That they are rich. They are wealthy. But they lose the most important part of all, don't they? Here's another one, guys. Kobe Bryant workout routine. It's called a 666 workout. Check this out. The Kobe Bryant workout routine features a hefty mix of track work, basketball skills, and weightlifting. His off-season workout has been called the 666 program because he spends 2 hours running, 2 hours on basketball, and 2 hours weightlifting for a total of 6 hours a day, 6 times a week for 6 months. I'm sure that's all just a coincidence. There's nothing to see here, folks. Move along. As a clutch player, it's obvious that he has a lot left in the tank going into the fourth quarter, even when other players don't, with 5 championships under his belt, blah, blah, blah. Now it's just going to talk about how awesome he is, but there it is, guys. Look this one up for yourself as well. You may be thinking, that's just the source. That's just one source. That's not true, KJ. KJ, you're a liar. Now go look it up. Kobe Bryant workout routine, 666 workout routine. There you go. There it is. Another one. Interesting. Get a first look at Kobe Bryant's upcoming young adult novel, Legacy and the Queen. And this was released just last year. Kobe Bryant's a basketball superstar, but in a new novel, the athlete is bringing a young tennis player to life. Bryant's Granity Studios, a multimedia original content company focused on telling stories around sports, is set to release 2 new young adult books in the coming year. Legacy and the Queen, out September 3rd, is centered around an underdog female tennis prodigy who has to use her talents to help save the magical kingdom of Nova. Created by Bryant, 40, and written by former professional squash player turned novelist Annie Matthew, here's where we get into it. The book is a powerful coming-of-age tale, an enchanting sports fantasy about finding your inner magic. As above, so below. Again, Tree of Life, Kabbalistic Tree of Life. The second book, Ipaka, the Tree of Ekroth, will release on November 12th and is a tale of 2 children from opposite sides of the tracks who form an unexpected bond to battle evil. For a first look from Legacy and the Queen, keep reading below. I don't want to read it. Let me see. There's something else I was wanting to throw in here, though. Oh, well. Maybe it's one of my other stories I have up there, but there you go. So getting into these books, just much like the... Oops. Much like the... Sorry, I had audio going off in my headphones there. Much like the Harry Potters and all this other stuff, that's for kids, but meanwhile, it's an introduction into the occult. We see it all the time, right? Lower Meridian High honors Kobe Bryant with 33-second moment of silence. Back to the 33. 33 was also his original jersey. I've got that picture up here somewhere as well. Of course, 33 always associated, depending on context, right, with Freemasonry and the secret societies. 33 is a magic number. I did a video on that a while back and showed you lots of examples of that, how it shows up everywhere, places you wouldn't expect. Also around lots of events, we'll find the 33 as well. In the gymnasium that bears his name, Kobe Bryant was honored during a 33-second moment of silence Tuesday night before the Lower Meridian High School girls basketball team. All right, cool. Yep. Let me see if I can find his picture. I've got it in here somewhere. Kobe Bryant Tribute 76ers put number 33 from Lower Meridian High School on Wells Fargo Center Court. So we're getting the 33s more and more, of course, all in relation to Kobe. If you didn't know, most of y'all do, but if you didn't know, go look it up. Look up 33, connection with Freemasons, Freemasonry, and how often 33 shows up in so many events. Oh, here it is. Here's Kobe's 33, right? This is original number 33. There you go. Oh, okay. It's also the wording he uses here. Kobe Bryant gives advice to tennis phenom Coco Gauff. Says, I think the important thing is that there's going to be a lot of things thrown at her, commitments, responsibilities. Those things will grow, Bryant said, referring to her. It's important for her to stay focused on what's most important, which is the craft. It's always the craft. Being 15, there's so many years ahead of her, but if she stays focused and connected to the sport, she'll be fine. Craft, I understand how it can be used. I even consider, what I do, creating videos and stuff like that, in my own way, that's like my art. Some people may say it's a craft, but those of us that know, craft is so often associated with actual witchcraft and also with Freemasonry. It's all about the craft. Being a Mason is all about becoming a God man, right? I told you all this story. You maybe knew around here. I used to travel a bit down in Central and South America. I went to Belize at one point, and I wound up getting hooked up with a cab driver out there. Not hooked up in a relationship type sense. Hooked up to where one thing I learned in Central and South America, the cabbies know where everything is. Everything. Whatever you need, they can help you out, right? No matter what it is. So guns, drugs, whatever, right? Water slides, they'll figure it out. They know where everything is, everything. So this one particular cab driver in Belize happened to be a 33rd degree Freemason. Had a massive square and compass, gold, silver, diamonds around his neck. But it was in a trashy little taxi cab. I don't want to talk bad about Belize, but Belize City it's not a very pretty place. It's when you go off the coast there and you go to the islands, that's where the magic is in Belize. That's where the beauty is. Otherwise, rough place, You better triple lock them doors, have a couple shotguns loaded just in case. That was my experience. It was kind of scary like that. But, hey, it was also very interesting. Had the best beans and rice I've ever had in my entire life at a little walk-up joint in Belize City. You wouldn't have expected it. Very good food. Frightening area. Cool dude, though. This guy was a pretty cool dude, I got to admit. We start talking because I noticed the thing around his neck. And I'm like, man, I've done some research into that. And I started talking about some of it. His eyes are lit up. He knew that I knew. He even asked if I was a Freemason. I was like, no, and I've never been interested. My grandfathers were from a small town. They did it, but it's just not my thing. And the more we talked, his eyes lit up and he's like, hey, man, do you want to come to the lodge? I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I felt safe. He'd be like, why would you do that? But, I don't live in fear. I have a good relationship, I believe, with my Heavenly Father. I have Jesus Christ as well. I don't do anything out of fear. I'm a curious person. I was interested, so he took me, and even in there, man, there was pictures of all the quote gods. There was even a picture of Jesus in there. It was all set up, the whole, it just like, that was the part that I guess I was kind of surprised by. The rest of it I wasn't, because I've seen the images, the books, the everything else. I know what's in there. I understand what most of it is. But to see actual images of Jesus in there too, along with everything else, it's like, okay, there you go. That's good, but still not good. Because I think that's just another way to deceive people, to pull them in that are Christians. Oh, you got Jesus in there. That's cool. Hey, sure, I'll join. And next thing you know, as he told me himself, ultimately, it's all about becoming your own God, the God man, right? It's all about the craft, all this other stuff. Anyway, I'm rambling. I know I do this. So, yeah, the craft. I caught that the way he was speaking. I feel just another little example there. Then we got this stuff right here. Where was this here? Let's right down here. It's okay. Good. I do have CC. Go ahead and check this out with me. So this is a book that Kobe Bryant, again, he was, author of. Let me see. Here we go. Check some of this out. Yeah, this is his book. And Jimmy Kimmel's joking, are these secret satanic messages in here? What's going on in here? And the audience is laughing. Ha, 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 ha. But even that I thought was interesting, with that, oh, these secret, satanic messages you're hiding in here. Meanwhile, I believe, Jimmy films in the old Masonic lodge in Hollywood. That's where his whole show is. And he's, to me, definitely one of them, definitely a sellout in that respect. So essentially we have here two Freemason or Freemason/Satanists, if you will, joking about these things in front of everybody, and nobody sees it, He says, are these secret satanic messages? And Kobe starts laughing and the audience laughs. There probably are. That's the thing. There probably is something written in there. I don't know. It's speculation. Again, these are all just little bits I'm sharing, guys. Don't get mad at me. But you didn't clearly explain. Hey, calm down. Relax. Take it easy, man. We're having some fun. Just looking at these little bits. So back to Jimmy Kimmel, of course, we all remember this, right? But this is how these Masons, these Satanists, right in front of your face, right? It's a mockery. Remember Jim Carrey came on here and went on for like 5 minutes about making fun of the Illuminati and the hand signs and everything else, right? But meanwhile, these guys know that, hey, yeah, we do some of this stuff. It's the way I see it. Another interesting bit on Kobe. Watching Kobe's last game, I noticed he left with 4.1 seconds left. He also passed away at the age of 41. This is from 6 days ago. So that's his last game, 4.1 seconds left, and he died at the age of 41. That's interesting. Isn't it interesting how these things kind of line up sometimes? Another really interesting bit. Google, when did Kobe Bryant die? And it lists the day of deadly crash as, quote, assassination. Look at this. This is from USA Today, January 26th, 2020, 11:35. Google search, when did Kobe Bryant die on Sunday night? Former date of assassination rather than date of death. Interesting, huh? I guess this is it. Huh, there you go. Oh boy, Kobe and Billy. We were just talking about Billy. Billy. Billy, you've been bad, Billy. You've been a bad man, Billy. Oh, you can't hear that anyway. But I covered this back when it happened. This is one of the old videos. This is from 2012. I'm bringing this up because to me it's another example of how some of these celebrities are sacrificed, and there's things that happen around there that are very interesting, very unique, and are telltale signs, if you will. But Whitney Houston was an interesting case of that as well. You may remember this, but she died at this hotel, right? This is right after the Grammys or whatever. So her dead body was in this hotel while they were having the party, for everybody on the bottom floor the entire time. Her dead body's in the hotel. They put up these 2 Egyptian sarcophaguses. They put up the 2 pillars, right here in front. Her dead body's in the building, and they're celebrating the Grammys. They're celebrating all the winners. It's Clive Davis and Sony and all them. Interesting. I think there's an article here I've got on all this. More Whitney Houston stuff. This one right here, mindcontrolblackassassins.com. If you ever check these guys out, check this out, man. These guys dig deep, and they go long with their research and stories. So this is too long to read everything to you right here. But he gets into a lot of the Whitney Houston stuff and all the strange things that happened around her. Mind control, black assassins. Not what you think. He's not saying black people are all assassins. Okay, he just means like dark energy assassins. Check it out. Whitney Houston at the 2012 Grammy Awards Mega Ritual. This is from VigilantCitizen.com here. Let me see. Okay. As in the cases of Michael Jackson, Amy Winehouse, Heath Ledger, Brittany Murphy, and many others, bizarre events preceded and followed the death of Whitney Houston. After reviewing all of those accounts, one cannot help but wonder, was Whitney's death truly an accident, or was it a deliberate sacrifice planned by unseen forces? While most media reports drum into people's heads that Whitney Houston equals drugs, some sources reveal other details that might lead to other paths of thinking. Here's Roger Friedman's account of things that happened at the Beverly Hilton on February 11th. Whitney Houston's death made for a long day's journey into night at the Beverly Hilton, while the Clive Davis Grammy dinner had to proceed downstairs in the ballroom with 800 guests already filing in as the news was breaking. Whitney remained in state, so to speak, in her fourth-floor suite. She was not removed until just moments before the party ended, a little after midnight. She had been in the suite, discovered in her bathtub, but there were many people in the suite when this happened at 3:50 p.m., including her daughter, Bobby Christina, her brother, Gary, sister-in-law, and another player in this story, a nightlife friend who had been guiding her around town the last few days as she was photographed in states of duress. What you don't know is that around 11 p.m., paramedics were called back to the fourth floor. Security and police raced back to the fourth floor. A medical wheelchair with restraints was brought in through the back entrance to the hotel. Bobby Christina, quote, freaked out. Well, she'd been upstairs for hours with her mother's dead body in the next room. It was understandable. The paramedics thought they were going to have to take her to the hospital, but calm was restored. For 10 minutes, though, security cleared the entire lobby of the hotel while the concert was going on inside the ballroom. I was out there at that moment, and it was one of the strangest scenes I've ever seen. Then there's this mysterious story of a leak that occurred the night before from Whitney's group of suites. A man on the third floor right underneath Houston's suite suddenly experienced water cascading into his bathroom from above at 2:30 a.m. It wasn't just a trickle. The man called security, then went upstairs to the fourth floor to see what was going on. He swears to me that it was Whitney's bathtub that was overflowing. He also says that a flat-screen television had been broken. The screen was smashed. My sources at the hotel say there was a leak, but that it wasn't for Whitney's room. They, her group, have a lot of rooms up there, says the hotel source. My source, this man, insists that he was told it was Whitney Houston's room. It does seem to have been part of her group. There are many mysteries here. None of them have been reported or solved by TMZ or one of the other muckraking tabloids. I know the man who had to pull Whitney out of the bathtub yesterday in an attempt to give her CPR. He told me she was already dead and there was nothing he could do. More on Whitney's death and the Grammy party follows in the next post. And believe me, dear readers, this isn't easy. I've known Whitney Houston and her family for over 25 years. She was a beautiful girl with a big heart. She is full of optimism. Her mother is one of the finest people. The people who worked for her and with her were devoted to her. When the shock turns to anger, there will be a lot of finger pointing, but in the end, Whitney ruled her own world. I'm not a criminal investigator, and I cannot solve all the mysteries surrounding Whitney's death, but the fact that her body was there for hours while a pre-Grammy party was happening just below is a little off-putting. Why wasn't it simply canceled? Is the presence of the dead body of a legendary singer in the same exact location as the party reason enough to cancel it? Was there some type of twisted thrill of partying right below Houston's body? Maybe part of a ritual, right? Perhaps. In another article, Roger Friedman noted the presence of strange Hollywood insider lurking around Whitney Houston. That was also Michael Jackson during his difficult periods. Here's the one person in the Whitney Houston story whose name you have not heard and who has remained a mystery, a Dutchman from Amsterdam who goes by the name of Raffles von Exel. He is also known in court records as Raffles Dawson and Raffles Benson. He was on the fourth floor of the Beverly Hilton Hotel in one of Houston's suites when she died. He appeared downstairs in the lobby shortly thereafter, wearing aviator sunglasses and sobbing. As usual, he had an entourage in tow, including Quentin Aaron, the actor who played the football player in The Blind Side. Raffles, in one of his many PR Newswire releases, recently announced that he's producing movies with Aaron. It's just one of many ventures he announces regularly. For someone who has no obvious means of support, he's a regular on PR Newswire and YouTube. On the latter, you can find him interviewing friends of Michael Jackson. It's assumed that he sells stories to tabloids. He regularly includes names of tabloid reporters like Kevin Frazier of The Insider on his tweets. Despite the shock of Whitney's death, Raffles still made it downstairs to Clive Davis's party. He was dressed in formal wear, had Whitney's tickets in his hand, and intended to sit at her table. Just inside the ballroom, he was comforted by celebrities who he related the story. "I found Whitney," he said. Gayle King hugged him. Quincy Jones listened patiently to his story. A security guard told me later, well, he was up there. He was also hanging around with Houston all week prior to her death. On Tuesday, when she emerged from a nightclub looking disheveled, Raffles appears in a photograph on TMZ like a deer in headlights. He is standing right behind her in a powder blue suit. On Twitter, he wrote, "Stop reading the stupid blogs. Whitney had a great time. She looked amazing. Nothing was wrong. It was just damn hot in the club." I don't want to keep reading all this stuff. But, let's see what it says about number 11. When dealing with occult rituals, numerology takes on a primordial importance. In the case of Whitney Houston, the number 11 is definitely a factor. In elite occult circles, the number 11 is a master number. It cannot be reduced. And because it exceeds the number 10, the number of perfection, by 1, it's usually associated with bad foreboding or black magic. Kabbalists associate the number 11 with transgression of the law, rebellion, war, sin, sorcery, and martyrdom. For this reason, the occult elite often associate mega rituals involving sacrifices with the number 11. What was the massive mega ritual of the modern times? September 11th, involving the Twin Towers. At what exact time do we remember World War I soldiers who sacrificed their lives for their rulers? At the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, Veterans Day. Going further than the date of her death, another link associates Whitney and her death with Lady Gaga and previous Grammy Awards. As some know, Lady Gaga had close ties with fashion designer Alexander McQueen, who is no stranger to the occult and mind control symbolism in his work. McQueen himself died on February 11th, 2010. During the 2011 Grammy Awards, Gaga stated about her song Born This Way, "I need to thank Whitney Houston. I wanted to thank Whitney because when I wrote Born This Way, I imagined she was singing it because I wasn't secure enough in myself to imagine I was a superstar. So Whitney, I imagined you were singing Born This Way when I wrote it." Born This Way was released on February 11th, 2011. Exactly 1 year later, Whitney Houston dies on February 11th, 2012. Did Gaga or her handlers know something that the rest of us didn't? Interesting, huh? Anyway, great article. Continues on and on and on. We'll spell out that there is no doubt this was some form of ritual surrounding Whitney Houston. That's on Vigilant Citizen. You can check that out if you're interested. All right, now we're winding it up a little bit. So the whole Lil Wayne thing, we were talking about Lil Wayne earlier. Lil Wayne doing went into the studio, like last minute, just before the release of an album called Funeral, just last minute, so we could put in 24 seconds of silence for his friend Kobe. I mean, they did this, right? It probably cost millions of dollars. Hold production, hold everything, last minute. Or was this already pre-planned? Well, do you remember this? Did Lil Wayne video predict the Aurora Dark Knight shooting? Lil Wayne and Big Sean's My Homie Still video came out July 17th, just 3 days before the Dark Knight Rises massacre that is still gripping the nation. Of course, that was the Aurora shooting. Says the internet's claiming a conspiracy. Well, this sounds like they're saying it's all, they're making fun of it. All right, let's try this. The gist of it is this, that I believe there was 11 people shot at Aurora. And then in the movie theater here, there's 11 skeletons. You can look this one up for yourself. I just thought it was interesting. Look up the, like this, Lil Wayne, Batman connection, Batman shooting connection, Lil Wayne, Aurora. But there's some interesting similarities there. And even in the video itself, which they don't have it here. It's filled with mind control symbolism. You've seen some of this before. It's the women with the bird cages around their heads, plenty of butterflies, monarch butterflies. They do it all the time, right? So just more examples of the mind control there. But this was one you can look up that, is definitely interesting. A few days before this came out, the exact number of skeletons, I believe, is what the idea was, is the exact number of people that were shot at Aurora or possibly killed. Because here's this. Lil Wayne's shocking new video features skeletons in movie theater and references to semi-automatic guns, but it was released before the Colorado massacre. So, wow, this is from 2012. Yeah, this is back when they would actually put this stuff out there. Good for you, Daily Mail. Back then. I don't think they do that anymore, do they? But there you go. All right, something to think about. That's it, man. I just looked up and I'm like, hey, that's my last story. So I'm going to jump over here to the chat now, see how you guys are doing for a bit. And we'll do that. How's it going, guys? Thank you so much for hanging out, man. Hope you guys enjoyed it, man. We were just been chilling, basically. That's what we did. We've been chilling, been hanging out. I wanted to show you some of these threads I found. Like I said, I'm not trying to be some fear monger. I'm also not trying to act like I have it all figured out. This stuff is so... It's like that, isn't it? It's gray. It's not always black and white. It's very gray. And there's a lot of layers and a lot of levels. And we even have to get beyond ourselves to look into this. It's easy to think, oh, I've got it all figured out, or I did it, I know it, and the next thing you know, something else pops up and all kinds of craziness ensues, doesn't it? Well, anyway, on that note, man, I just wanted to say thanks again for being here, guys. Give a big shout out to the Patreon, PayPal supporters. Also, thanks to those of you out there for your encouragement, kind words, your prayers. Appreciate all of that as well. And I'm going to try to jump over to the chat now so I can actually say hi for a second. There we go. That's better. Now I'm in chat. Now I see everybody. All right, guys. How are you? Love it. We got a great crowd here, man. Wow. Nice big group, guys. Thanks for being here. If you missed it, I mentioned at the very beginning of the show, there's a couple of animators who've reached out to me. I'll be talking to you guys over the next week, and let's do something, man. I got some ideas. I want to see your ideas. We're going to work on some new projects. I got the scariest movie ever made out in close to 30, somewhere around 30 festivals all around the world. I've been submitting it online, trying to get it out there. The merchandise, I'll be contacting the artist who reached out to me in the next few days. We're going to get it figured out, and we're going to get some merchandise out there as well. I got like 4 or 5 big videos I can't wait to finish up. So I got my show today. I got a show tomorrow. Then I'm working on my videos. Then after that, once I get caught up with that, I have a big documentary I'm going to do that will not be on YouTube, only on my website, probably Vimeo, and probably BitChute as well. Guys, God bless you. Thanks for being here. We'll do a hangout show soon. Tomorrow night, hang out with me with the what happened, a lot to cover. Real quick, I'd like to do a quick prayer and say, Heavenly Father, thanks so much for these people. Look at these people. Really, Lord, thank you. Thanks for such a great crowd. Thanks for such great people from all around the world, different thoughts, different beliefs. I love that we can all come together here and hang out and just chat and explore things, explore this reality. But Father, thank you, Lord, please, and help us all to not live in fear, to stay aware and awake of things, but to still live at peace with you and follow your ways. And thank you, Lord, just for everything, man. I love you. And in Jesus' name I pray, amen. There you go, guys. I even ramble in my prayers. Hey, I'll talk to you tomorrow night, okay? I'll see you then. Thank you. Stay cool.